What's up, everyone? Today is December the 3rd. This is the Sell That Option Stock Market daily recap where we go over the trades that we made today. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the trades that went off, with the exception of EWW. Really, SMH was just a very typical where we open up a strangle, we let it move back and forth, take it off at 50%. EWW, while it looks like a strangle right here, we treated it as a straddle because the strikes were so close together. Interesting. I want to take a look at this. We have EWW right here, the 41 straddle. And we also have EWW right here at the 42 and 43, very, very tight strangle, and they both went off. Why is that the case? Because essentially we're at the place now where there's so little credit in these positions that they basically are only worth the distance from the strikes that they are from the current strike price. And so what ends up happening is these just eke out time decay, and you can get off, right? I mean, if you weren't studying this particular system, you wouldn't look at this and say, hey, I can get a 42 put, 43 call strangle, and a 41 straddle off on the same day, right? Like, it just doesn't... It's not super intuitive, but when you get into the system and begin to learn how selling these neutral positions work, you can get off really cool trades like this. You saw, I mean, these all basically happened right at the open today. These were all good till canceled orders. All right, XLE, we got a pop in oil. USOs, I don't know, up 5% or so, 3%, 5%, something like that. And you saw XLE and OIH and some of those pop. OIH, by the way, we are super, super close to getting it off, 112 to 114. Super, super close to getting OIH off for our profit target. FXC came off, and then XLE came off. But let's spend a majority of our time really talking about the adjustments that we made and then the two ladder trades. So as you can see, we adjusted in EEM and emerging markets. We adjusted in EWW. So you saw these EWWs come off, EWW come off. EWW right here, we had the 45 call that we rolled down. In the emerging markets, EEM, we rolled up the 38 put to the 40.5 put. And then we added for January 2 more positions. So let's go ahead and get into our Analyze tab, and we can see exactly what all was going on. So here we are. This is XBI, which is our Spiders Biotech ETF. Let's just take these positions off. Okay, so here we are. Remember, we took in a massive, almost $10 credit. I think it was... what was it? Yeah, close to a $10 credit, $9 credit right here at the 77 strike, right? But we've moved all the way up to 84.5. So when I was looking at positions, you know, we're kind of close to this break even. So let's recenter over the market. And so look at our payoff diagram, right? We will go to set slices, break even. So before we laddered into this trade, you can see that we still had a 58% probability of profit up here, but we only had a 1.42% chance to get challenged down here. So what I did is I ended up trying to recenter over the market, right? So let's add these strikes back, and now all of a sudden we go from a 58% probability of profit. We set these slices, go to our break evens, and now all of a sudden we're up to 62%, because what we did is we essentially recentered a little bit more over where the market currently is. Right, we were so far out here on this side, you know, way down here in the 60s, that it just really doesn't make sense to keep where we're challenging this side, and we're so far out from expiration we can get decent credit. So we got another $6 worth of credit right here, and so we can recenter over the market, right? And that's the beauty of the system, is that we can ladder into these positions. And so that's exactly what we did here in XBI. Is we said, hey, let's recenter, let's move our strikes a little bit. So now the next thing is we'll see what happens here. If we have to add another position, we'll add up here at 89. And then after that, really what we'll start to do is move the strikes up as we near expiration. But we're still so far out from expiration. I mean, we're still a solid 3 weeks out before we want to begin thinking about laddering into some of these trades. Whoops. All right, let's get back. Here's what I wanted. Let's get into SMH. Let's get into the semiconductors, and we're going to show you the same thing. This is actually a position that came off. So let's take off these last, this position. Okay, So we will just select January. That's what I did. Okay, so let's get off the position we just added today, which is this position and this position. Okay, so this was our original position here in the semiconductor ETF. As you can see, we're nearing this strike up here. So we sold this, what looks like 100 call, and we're at 98.5. Okay, and so we're really challenging this particular position, or this particular side. So what I did is I essentially did the exact same thing. So I laddered into this position. Okay, and now we've got a break even. We pushed this break even out on this side pretty significantly, right? And so we know now that we have a 65% probability of profit. We're going to treat these positions as the same because we still haven't been totally challenged. We're not past the break even on the call side. And so we've moved this out a little bit, right? And as you can see, here's a position and here's a position, right? So the next thing we'll do now is again move some of these. All right, because we've got our position right here. We've got our call up here. The next thing we'll do is we'll move this 76 put up, to 88 or whatever, right? Just to go ahead and take that off because there's very little value left in these particular positions, right? And so we really just recentered again. We recentered over the market, and so recentering again gives us the ability to kind of move with the market and adjust with what the market is giving us. All right, so let's go up to EEM. Okay, now EEM is pretty interesting. So what we did here in EEM is we had a position over 38. Okay, so we had a 38, and what we did is we moved up that position. Okay, so we went from 38 all the way up here to 40.5. Okay, oh, I didn't mean to do that. And so this is for December, okay? And so we took off a number of positions already today here in EEM. But what we did is we essentially had this 38, 39, okay? And we said, hey, we're not going to necessarily get that off, okay? So let's move up that 38 put all the way up here to 40.5. And even though it's selling for here, what we know is we've already banked this credit that was here at 38, okay? And so now we're inverted 39 to 40.5, okay? And so like we talked about with some of our other inversions, right, the most or the least amount of credit that we would be able to buy this position back for is $1.50. Okay, because that's the width difference between 39 call and 40.5 put. And so now what we'll probably do is we'll take a look at the total amount of credit that we've received for the position, and I sent that out via email. And we're going to say, hey, let's take, rather than 25% of our target, I'm probably only going to target 10% now of the total amount of credit that we've received. Okay, and so what I'll do is I will look at what I want to buy this position back for, and I'll shoot it out in an email first thing tomorrow morning. It's going to show, right, that these are our break-evens, okay? But we know that that's not the case. Really, the new break-even is going to be 50 cents out on this side. And so we had 40.36, and we took in an additional amount of credit. And so really, we're looking for about there for our break-even, which happens to be where the security is selling. On this particular position, now this doesn't take into account all of the other credits that we've already banked, right? Because we already have laddered in and taken off parts to this position, and so it's really, really helpful when we think about the total amount of credit and not just the credit for this particular position. We might end up break even or just a small loss on this particular position, but because we laddered in over the course of a couple of weeks and have already taken off others for profit, we're going to end up making money on this trade. And that's exactly the same thing you're going to see here in EWW. Right, so we've laddered into this position, but we took off so much, right? We're inverted. We went down from 45, so we had a position way out here at 45, and we moved that down to 42.5, which you can see right here. And so we might, try to get 10% of the total credit and still make a profit on this particular position. But when we're looking holistically at the overall position, when we've been able to ladder in effectively, and I've already taken some of those positions off, right? We took 2 positions off here. then we're able to adjust and move and really just take in these massive credits and really have flexibility when we get later in the month as the market has moved. And so that's the beauty, again, of the system. And we've been talking a lot about adjustments, right? Because that's where the beauty and the finesse of this system really come into play. So if you have any questions, this is the daily recap. I hope all of this makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at Ryan, R-Y-A-N, at Sell That Option. Otherwise, as always, stay humble, stay hungry, and here's to our success. All right, so what you just saw was a weekly video that I send out to my members every single Sunday that does really two things. One, it goes over my current positions, kind of what I'm thinking with each of those positions, whether or not I think we're going to need to adjust those positions or add to those positions. I also will go over kind of what I'm thinking going into the week, right? So I'm thinking, hey, right, the market is giving us this. What is it that we need to do in order to be successful this week in the market? What is it that we need to do in order to make sure that we are generating income for our portfolios? And then the other thing that we're doing is we're talking general market overview, right? What's going on in the market? In late 2018, right, when I'm recording this, oil has been getting destroyed, right? And so we talk a little bit about how that's influencing the general market, right? Why is oil doing what it's doing, or how is it impacting the S&P 500? How is it impacting general market sentiment, right? We're really trying to get into the mindset, right? And we're really trying to delve deep into some of these larger issues in the market, right? And how that might impact our portfolios. Right, and the reason that I do this is because I sincerely believe that what needs to happen week in and week out, day in and day out, is for people that are trying to learn how to get good at this, right? Because all this is it's a skill. It's like every other skill, right? You can learn, right? You need to learn from somebody that's been there, that's figured it out, and can be successful, right? So that's what I'm doing with each of my members every Sunday when I send this video out. So I'm saying, hey, this is getting into the mind of somebody that's figured it out, that is successful. And so I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not advising. I'm simply showing you and letting you get into my mind a little bit as to what it is that I do day in and day out, week in and week out. Now, for watching this far, I want to give you a special code, right, for membership. So if you're ever interested in joining us here at sellthatoption.com, you can go to Stock Trading Services and you can enter the code YouTube. All lowercase, YouTube, all lowercase, in order to get 50% off any membership, lifetime 50% off, quarterly, yearly, monthly, all 50% off and all available to you with the code YouTube. Okay, so what do you get? Under members, you get my daily recap videos, you get my weekly strategy videos, you get my introduction to stock options course, my advanced options course, and my general knowledge base. And I am always adding new courses, right? I'm always adding new case studies, always adding new stuff to make sure that the education and the product that I'm delivering is simply the best. That's my goal, to deliver the best product. That way I give you, my loyal subscribers and my loyal followers, the absolute best opportunity to be successful in this market. Right, so there it is, all lowercase, YouTube, discount code, 50% off. If you have any questions, reach out to me at Ryan, R-Y-A-N, at sellthatoption.com. Or, as always, stay humble, stay hungry, and here's to our success.